Hello everyone, and welcome to my 7th ASMR video, I think, or 6th, no, 7th, I'm pretty sure. I'm sorry, I'm kind of losing track by now. But yeah, I'm back with another ASMR video for you. First of all, I got my nails done again. They look like this time they're very natural because I am going to a wedding in 2 days. So yeah, my dress for the wedding is hanging in the background and I wanted to get a color done which would match it. So that's what I did. Nonetheless, today I have another bookish video for you. Today I will be rating every book that I've read this year so far, which has been 20 something. I'm not certain how much it is exactly, but it's something along that. I have all of the books right next to me and also have my Kindle next to me because I am a big Kindle fan. So without further ado, let's get into this video today. Okay, I wrote down all of the ratings that I have on my phone right here because I didn't want to forget any book that I read or anything. Oops, the lighting is very light. Okay, this is better. Let's get into it. Thankfully, the worst rating that I have on here is a 3-star, which that's actually not bad. Maybe my rating is a little bit on the nicer side because I feel like if I don't like a book, I don't tend to finish it. I started a few books this year already. I started Before the Coffee Gets Cold. I think that's what it's called. I read like 50 pages and I just really couldn't get into it, so I DNF'd it for now. I don't know if I'll ever read it or try again. I just have so many other books that I want to read. So yeah. Okay. So yeah, the worst rating that I have is a 3-star, and we'll start with that. Both of the books that I read, which are 3 stars for me, are on my Kindle. I'm just gonna do some tapping on it. By the way, I redesigned my Kindle. Looks like this now. I changed it a little bit. So, the first book that I read, which I rated a 3-star, is Madison Beer's The Half of It. The Half of It by Madison Beer. If you guys are unfamiliar with her, she is an American singer, and I really like her a lot. I went to her concert 2 years ago, and it was really awesome. And I read her book that she came out with last year or something, and I did really like it. I believe maybe I gave it a little bit better, but since I've read a lot of books by now, I turned down the rating a little bit. She basically just talks about her life living in fame, which that sounds stupid, but it's actually very interesting, and how it changed her a lot and what she had to learn, and just like life lesson things, I guess. So that was the first book that I have, sadly, on my lowest rating, which I still really enjoyed the book, and I took away a few things from it, so I think that's pretty good nonetheless. The second book that I rated a 3-star is In Holidays by Christina Lauren. I read this before Christmas last year, so technically this isn't a book that I read this year, but I decided to still include it. Yeah, I wanted a Christmas romance book. I picked up that one. It really wasn't bad at all. It just wasn't anything where I thought, okay, I'll think about this again, you know? So it was cute, good. It was a cute story. It was friends to lovers. That's like a plot or whatever that I usually really enjoy. I hate enemies to lovers. And I also hate like bully romances. That's just really not my vibe. So friends to lovers is always a good thing. And this is what that was. So yeah, I liked it. It just wasn't anything that necessarily stood out to me. Okay, moving up the tier, I guess, rating tier. Now I'm going to be talking about books that I rated 3.5 stars. The first one I also read on my Kindle, just nothing that necessarily stood out to me so much. I liked the vibe, I liked where it took place, like the beach vibes and whatnot, but besides that, it was okay. Nothing where I thought, wow, this is amazing, which is sad, obviously. Also considering that this is only the second Emily Henry book that I ever read in my life. So yeah, I still have hope though. I will definitely read some of the other ones. So if you want to, you can let me know which one was your favorite Emily Henry book, and then I might read it. The last book that I gave 3.5 stars I actually have next to me. And it is this one. Probably a book that everybody knows about already. It's If He Had Been With Me by Laura Nolan. Oh my god, I kind of think that this is a tongue twister. But yeah, If He Had Been With Me. It's a very devastating story. It was fun, but it was also very sad. However, through like 70% of the book, not much was happening, so I didn't love it, sadly. I know that the opinions of people are so-so. Some people say that they absolutely loved it, and then there's people who absolutely hated it, and I'm just like kind of in the middle. Yeah, I have to say I didn't really care for the characters here so much either, sadly. I could not relate to them. If anything, Finny was my favorite character, and Autumn, she was just like this cute girl who was supposed to be very pretty, and she was depressed. That's kind of what I took away from it. Yeah, by the way, just because I didn't love this, if you loved it, I don't mean anything bad. The book was still good. It was just, I don't know, I just couldn't really connect so much. Also, I have to say I read this book in German because my boyfriend got it for me. So maybe that's one of the reasons I didn't enjoy it so much, because I usually read English books only. So, those are the 3.5 star books that I read this year. Gonna put this to the side now. Now we're going up to the 3.8 stars. I know that's like a really weird, specific kind of rating, but it just felt right to me. And I have 3 books that I rated this. 2 of those are also on my Kindle. The first one is 8,000 Boy Kisses. Where do I start? I don't even know what to say about this, really. It was just very sad, and I liked Poppy and I liked Rune a lot, and I thought that they were a great couple. The only thing that really threw me off, and that's probably one of the main reasons why the rating isn't so high with this, is because of the chapters. The chapters were so freaking long. What was the reason for that? Can somebody tell me, please? Because I hate long chapters. This is super weird, but it's just I don't like them, and that's one of the main reasons why I didn't enjoy it so much, because the chapters, oh, there's my cat, because the chapters were just unnecessarily long, and I was just like, dude, what the hell? But yeah, it's very sad for sure, and I believe in the epilogue there's something which some people didn't read when they first got the book, but there is this epilogue that has been added, and I was just like, what the fuck? I was just speechless at that point, really. So I read that, and then another book that I rated 3.8 stars is Throttled by Lauren Asher. This is a Formula One romance. I don't know if I talked about this already, but my boyfriend is a really big Formula One fan, and I was like, okay, I'll read it. And after I finished reading it, I got a big I kind of became a big Formula One fan too. Not as big as him, obviously, but yeah. If you watch Formula One, my favorite driver is Lando Norris. Just putting that out there. hates this woman for God knows what reason. But I heard that the movie 2 is coming out, and Blake Lively is one of the main characters or main actors, and I like Blake Lively a lot. So I was like, okay, you know what? I will actually read this book, and I went into it with extremely low expectations, but I loved it. If you are Team Ryle, you are extremely fucked up. I'm sorry to say that. Atlas is the way to go. I mean, yeah, okay. The thing is, Ryle is kind of presented as like this awesome guy with a few flaws. Which, what the fuck? If you read this book, if you know, you know. But yeah, I liked Atlas a lot more. So yeah, this is basically about a girl called Lily Bloom, and she meets this guy called Ryle, and stuff goes down, but she keeps thinking about her first love, which is, his name is Atlas Corrigan, and he used to be homeless, and she helped him with the stuff, and that's just how the book goes. So yeah, this was very good. I did really enjoy it. Yeah, I was thinking about reading the second one, but I don't think I will, because it's kind of obvious what will happen, so yep. So that's the last one for 4-star ranking. Then we move up to 4.25. Don't ask. The first book that I have there is the first Emily Henry book that I've ever read, and it is People We Meet on Vacation. This is again a friends to lovers kind of book, and I just eat that shit up every time. So I love this. This is awesome. Go read it if you haven't already. I'm kind of having to speed up a little bit because my camera's showing that it's empty, so I'm gonna have to go through this a little bit quicker. Another book that I loved a lot with the 4.25 was As Good as Dead. This is the third part to the A Good Girl's Guide to Murder series. It was just very graphic, so I liked that book the least, even though it was definitely extremely interesting. It was still extremely good, but yeah. Then the 4.5 rating is, first book that I gave 4.5 stars is The Way I Am Now, which is the second book to The Way I Used to Be. I love that book. They were both very great. Then I have Every Last Word, which I have right here. It's about a girl, Samantha. She has OCD, and just like her life, how it happens and stuff happens, and it's very beautiful and very awesome. I love this. 4.5 stars. And then the last book that I gave 4.5 stars is obviously A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. I loved this. It was fantastic. I love Pip. I love Ravi. I loved all of the characters. Slay. Big slay. If you haven't read this, what are you doing? Go buy it right now. Okay, and for the last ranking is 5 stars. I already said that in another video, but one of my 5-star books that I've ever read was The Way I Used to Be. I read that on my Kindle. Absolute favorite book of mine. I love it. Okay. Hi everyone, I'm back. I had to take a little break of filming because my camera literally just turned off because it was empty. But I'm back, and I'm here to talk to you about the last 2 books that I rated 5 stars. The first one I already talked about, The Way I Used to Be. I've said this in like a few places somewhere here and there before, how much I love that book. Here I'm again saying it. It is by Amber Smith. I actually commented on one of her posts and she replied to me, and I was like fangirling really hard. So yeah, that was very funny. But yeah, then I have 2 other books. The second one is also one which I read on my Kindle, and it is the second book in the A Good Girl's Guide to Murder series. It is Good Girl, Bad Blood. Good Girl, Bad Blood. Sorry. I was about to say As Good as Dead, but that's the third one. Yeah, Good Girl, Bad Blood. I know that's most people's least favorite, but it was my favorite. Yeah, I loved it. It was awesome. 5 out of 5 stars. I was obsessed with it, and I ate it up so freaking fast. expect this amount to be watching my videos, and I'm just a random girl that talks about boring stuff, kind of. But hey, I guess it's not so boring to you guys, so I'm very thankful for that. Yeah, that's all I can say. Thank you very much for watching. I will see you in the next video, and yeah,